am Mubina, your host, and I'm a student of BS Environmental Science at USPCAS-W at Mehran University of Engineering and Technology. Today we have a very esteemed guest, Dr. Shahid Panhwar. How are you, sir?
Very well, thank you very much.
So we will start with our questions that I have noted down. These are really important according to the conference that was held today. And first of all, the very basic question that is, what do you think about this conference, like the topic water governance and climate resilience?
This is a series of conferences, this being held for the last 5-6 years. And if you don't know, I let you know that I have remained part of USPCAS-W for the last 5-6 years when this center was established.
Yes.
I was part of the team, so I served here with Dr. Kamran and other team for 4-5 years, and from the first year back in 2016 we started this series of conferences. So since this is USPCAS-W is the National Water Center, and its mandate is to address the water challenges of the country. So water governance, water related any topic is very much relevant, which is the mandate of the center. So yes, hats off to USPCAS-W.
Okay, moving on to another question. So what do you think is the most important step we need to take to improve how water is managed in Pakistan?
Well, so as the title of the conference is, I think this water governance proverb comes in every year's conference. So basically, not only the water management, but unfortunately, all challenges that we have in our country are related to the governance. So it is the now need of the time that government should enhance its governance, not only in the field of water management, but it's no matter it's education, health, public health, water supply, sanitation that we have been discussing, agriculture, irrigation, everywhere. It is the governance that has to be improved. Without that, and that should come from the government. It's nothing to do with the USPCAS-W or any other research center in the country, because this is something would be improved upside down. You see, top down approach, not upside down. So if there is a political will, things will improve, governance will improve, and end of the day, water management will improve.
I see. So moving on to another question. How can policymakers better support research-based solutions emerging from platforms like this conference?
So again, this comes the core area which this USPCAS-W has been working for the last 6, 7, 8 years, is to narrow down the gap between the industry and academia linkages. So unfortunately, what happens in our country, the academic research thing is not taken into the field, or is scaled up. In the developed countries, for example, in the West, governments actually reach out to research institutes and universities for their problem solutions. Mm-hmm. And in our case, nobody actually care, So governments have their own direction, and unfortunately universities also just keep on researching every year, and those researches are shelved, and the research institute has the role to come up with some strategy so that they translate their research work into policy format, and then reach out to policy makers, to the governments, to legislators, so that they understand the technical research, what otherwise, the technical research, for example, water quality, technical things, it's very difficult to understand for a layman or a political leader, for a government officer, So we need to translate into easy language so that a policy maker and the government people. So this is we have to narrow down this gap, this linkage. So university should work on translating how research into policy format thing, and then government should listen to the research institute so that this gap is narrowed down and things improve.
So we have started to notice that Pakistan now feels like it has two seasons, extreme either winter or extreme summer. Like there is no fall or spring like it was before. So what are your views according to that?
I mean, this is a well-known fact now. It's climate change, actually. It's not only in our country, it's actually everywhere happening. See, so hardly, I mean, the duration, if the other four seasons have not wiped away, so their period has shortened.
Yes.
So this is the global phenomena, and this is climate change, and we are, as Pakistanis, we are actually, sufferers, not, we don't have any
Exactly.
major contribution to the climate change.
Exactly.
So we actually suffer what pollution, what climate change, other developed countries, their industrialization, other actions are doing. So we are trying to cope up with those challenges. So I don't know. So that's why the term climate change, mitigation, and adaptation comes in. So we are not contributor, but since we don't have any say to the developed worlds who are contributing towards this climate change, so we have to prepare ourselves to accommodate ourselves and mitigate and adapt those changes.
So this was the exact question that I asked like my two earlier guest speakers.
Okay, so was the answer same or?
No, they have their different views.
Okay.
Next question that I have is, given Pakistan's increasing water stress and governance challenges, what, in your opinion, is the most urgent step the country must take to ensure long-term water security?
Water stress. Okay, so there are two things. One is, within country, challenge at water scarcity, and then there are transboundary. So, in my view, first is to resolve the, within country interprovincial challenges, issues of water management and water scarcity. And the world has, developed a lot of technology to conserve water. So it's not only Pakistan where water is scarce. Again, everywhere in the world, water scarcity is again a global phenomena, but they have come up with solutions, and what you call it, irrigation or agriculture efficient techniques. For example, drip irrigation, sprinkler kind of technologies, So, but unfortunately, we are unable to optimize on those technologies and adopt those technologies on larger scale. We have been doing experiments in pockets because I personally know, this drip irrigation thing for the last 20 years. And even today we are experimenting on this. So we have not actually scaled it up. So these are the technologies. First, we actually resolve this water scarcity, water stress issue within country, and then the diplomacy thing is the best thing that we address the transboundary international water issues.
So in context of climate, I'm really curious about your views on ozone layer emission. So what do you think about that?
Again, ozone layer emission is the this industrialization and increase in temperatures, which is actually damage. So what view can be given on this? We have to reduce the carbon emission. Your ozone will
So
be
like
repaired.
it has been increasing or decreasing? What
It's
do you think?
increasing, definitely. That's why the temperatures are rising. Why? Because that filtration is not working.
So what exactly
properly.
was the under phenomenon which caused it?
I don't know actually.
Okay,
No,
all right, no
sorry.
problem. And what about
This is more technical.
okay? So what about groundwater emission? Like it's been decreasing.
Groundwater?
Yes.
Groundwater depletion again is the lack of rainfalls, and that's the only reason that, and then the exploitation of the groundwater, without
Yes.
any rules and regulations.
So don't you think like the people are doing like some people use it justly while other are like using it in excess?
Yeah, I never held responsible individuals,
Yes.
in my view. It is the framework, legal framework, regulatory framework that works in the world, So this thing applies on this groundwater exploitation. This applies to your traffic jams, signals. This applies to our non-governance in our government departments. Everywhere in the world, it is the rule of law that works. You give a framework of operation. This is the framework. A citizen has to operate and function in this framework. And you mean it. And in our case, we have these frameworks, but nobody cares about. There's no accountability. There's no question. You go outside on the road, you do whatever you want, nobody will ask you why you are doing this wrong. But in other developed countries, this is not the case. So there is fear, there is fine, then there is education, which actually sensitize people. And then there is the state and the governments play the role models role, And in our case, it doesn't exist anymore.
Exactly.
What government is doing, government people, our leadership, they are our inspiration. So how they inspire us? They inspire us to break the rules. You see? So this is what, globally, I think groundwater regulations is very less. I don't think in at least South Asian countries, in India, Nepal, Sri Lanka, they are also new into it. But I think they have established these policies, regulated these things. But in Pakistan, we have recently, in 2018, we have come up with the National Water Policy, which actually hardly talks about the groundwater exploitation. Experts can more comment on that, but this is what I learned from that policy when I was working with this center. So this is not individuals. Individuals will do, when you don't have law, everybody applies her own law. Four people sitting, we will behave whatever we think right. You see, but if you give us a patron, a framework, a law, all four will actually obey that law. So this is the gap where we need to improve on.
So as a student myself, I'm looking forward to your advice. What will you say so that students like me could indulge and take care of these laws and these?
Yeah, definitely. As a responsible citizen, it is right. If there is a law, our responsibility is to obey the law, no matter all other people in front of you do not. But this doesn't work.
Yes.
This is the first step, that you obey law. I gave a very classical example of this traffic. So, for example, on this Karachi-Hyderabad motorway, if you 100% follow the traffic rules, it will take you 4 hours to reach Karachi. But if you drive the way everybody is driving, you will reach in 2 hours. So this is where, how can you actually sustain these 2 hours? For how long? So end of the day, if your productivity is lost, compromised.
Yes.
You see? So this again example applies to everywhere. But of course, as a response, because since you are an educated person, so this comes to you, you obey the rule of law, and you tell your friends, family to do the same. But things will not work like this, as I said earlier.
I see.
This should come from the system and everybody. I gave you again a classical example. Pakistani people go abroad where they become civilized. Same people. You, me, go and we behave civilized. Because why? It's same person. But because they see the system. System is working. System is functional. They cannot do this, they cannot do that, right? And same people come back and they feel, absolute freedom. You see, so this is how things work.
Are there any concluding remarks that you would like to say?
Yeah, well, with regard to this conference, I think the center has to put some more efforts again because research is happening, academic activities are very fine, the way we started in 2016-15, research is carried out, now bachelor's program is there. But this again, the real impact of this research will be observed when this industry, academia linkage is narrowed down. So when I say industry, it also includes governments. So we have to come up with some innovative strategies so that we narrow down this gap, we translate our research into policy format, and कंपेल, आपको ऐसा माहौल बनाना पड़ेगा कि गवर्नमेंट मजबूर हो आपकी बात सुनने को. अब ये एक बहुत बड़ा टॉपिक है दैट वी कैन डिस्कस सम अदर टाइम. थैंक यू.
With that, we will conclude our podcast. Thank you so much for being here, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me.